Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at craft-based entrepreneurship and crowdfunding.
Cool.
You shared some pretty fascinating research with me, and I'm ready to dig in.
Yeah.
We're diving into a study today called Mix with the Crowd: Craft-Based Campaigns and the Value of Distinctiveness in Crowdfunding.
Okay.
And they analyzed thousands of Kickstarter campaigns,
Wow.
over 10,000 craft-based ones,
Okay.
compared to almost 500,000 that weren't craft-focused.
That's a lot of data.
It's a huge amount of data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because the study kind of turns a common assumption on its head.
Okay.
We often think that to succeed in a crowded space, you need to be wildly different,
Okay.
stand out,
Right.
be super unique. But this research shows that for craft businesses,
Yeah.
that might not be the best strategy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've got my attention.
Yeah.
What they find that challenges that idea?
So they found that while craft campaigns did score higher in distinctiveness, they used unique language, they focused on human skill, the personal touch,
Yeah.
but their success rates were lower than non-craft campaigns.
Mm.
So it seems a little counterintuitive.
Yeah. More
Well-
unique, but less successful.
Yeah,
That's a head scratcher.
it is.
Why would that be?
Well, the researchers suggest there's a potential liability of distinctiveness
Okay.
for craft businesses on Kickstarter.
Interesting.
So imagine you're a backer
Yeah.
and you're looking at a bunch of projects.
Mm-hmm.
You want to feel confident that your money is going towards something that's going to work,
Right.
something that feels legitimate.
Okay.
If something is too unique, too different, it might raise some red flags for potential backers.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
So if everyone else is doing things one way and this project is way out there, maybe it's too risky.
exactly. A potential backer might wonder if there's a reason why everyone else isn't doing it that way. It might raise questions about the viability of the project or even the credibility of the creator.
So how do these craft businesses find that sweet spot then?
Right.
How do you be distinctive enough to be intriguing but not so much that you scare people off?
Well, that's where the research gets even more fascinating.
Okay.
They identify 3 key factors
Uh-huh.
that influence how this distinctiveness thing plays out.
Okay.
They call them moderators.
Moderators.
Yeah.
Okay, what are those moderators and how do they affect the equation?
So the first one is the risk index of the campaign.
Okay.
So basically, how risky is the project perceived to be?
Oh, so are you saying that if a project is already seen as risky, being super unique on top of that might be a bad idea?
That's exactly what the study found.
Okay.
It's like they're trying to mitigate risk.
Right.
If a project is already a bit of a gamble, toning down the distinctiveness might make backers feel more confident.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to stack the odds against yourself.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first moderator.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
The second one is strategic breadth.
Strategic breadth.
Yeah.
What is that?
So this one looks at how many different opportunities or angles the business is pursuing.
Okay.
So are they hyper-focused on one specific thing, or are they casting a wider net?
Gotcha. So you're going to tell me that the wider the net, the more they can afford to be distinctive.
You nailed it.
Okay.
Campaigns with a wider strategic breadth tend to embrace more distinctiveness. It's like they have more elements to play with so they can be more creative and daring in how they present themselves.
That's interesting. It's almost like having a diverse portfolio allows you to take more risks in other areas.
Exactly.
So that's 2.
Yeah.
What about the final moderator?
The third moderator is cognitive complexity,
Cognitive complexity.
which sounds a little intimidating,
Yeah, a little bit.
but it's really about the mindset of the person leading the campaign.
Okay, so if the creator is a really complex thinker,
Yeah.
are they more likely to create a really unique out there campaign? You might think so, but the research actually found the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, campaigns led by people with higher cognitive complexity,
Uh-huh.
so those who are really good at thinking outside the box,
Yeah.
often had lower distinctiveness scores.
That is surprising. Why would someone with more complex ideas create a less distinctive campaign?
It might be because they're so deep in the weeds of their project with all its nuances and complexities
Okay.
that they have a hard time communicating that vision clearly and concisely to a broader audience.
Gotcha. So it's like they're speaking a different language.
Yeah.
One that most people don't understand.
Exactly.
Interesting. So the people with the most to offer might struggle to explain it in a way that resonates.
Yeah, it's almost ironic, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So that makes communicating your idea clearly, even if it's complex, absolutely crucial.
It's essential.
Yeah.
You have to meet your audience where they are, even if you're coming from a completely different place.
Okay, so we've got these three fascinating moderators: risk breadth and the creator's mindset.
Yeah.
But how did they actually measure distinctiveness in the first place?
Right.
Was it subjective, or did they have a more objective way of doing it?
They use some really sophisticated techniques to analyze the language used in the campaigns.
Okay.
One of these techniques is called latent dirichlet allocation topic modeling.
Wow, that sounds pretty high tech.
Yeah.
Break that down for me. What does that even mean?
So it sounds complicated,
Yeah.
but it's a really powerful way
Yeah.
to look at the words people use and identify the underlying topics or themes that they're talking about.
So by comparing the topics and the language used in craft campaigns versus non-craft campaigns, they could actually measure how distinctive the language was.
Exactly. It wasn't just someone's opinion.
Right.
They could quantify it based on the actual words being used.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Makes the findings even more compelling.
I agree, and it really highlights the importance of language and how we use it to communicate our ideas, especially when we're trying to persuade someone to support our project.
This whole idea of distinctiveness having a potential downside,
Yeah.
it's really making me rethink some of my assumptions about what makes a campaign successful.
It challenges conventional wisdom, right? We're often told to stand out, be unique, be different.
Right.
But this research suggests that sometimes fitting in a little bit can be a good thing.
Especially in a context like crowdfunding, where people are taking a risk by supporting your project.
Right.
It makes sense that they would want some reassurance, some sense of familiarity.
Exactly. And that's where finding that balance comes in. You want to highlight what makes you special, but not go so far that you alienate potential backers.
Okay, so we've talked about the theory and the research behind it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how this actually plays out in real-life campaigns.
Sure.
Can you give me an example of how this liability of distinctiveness might manifest in a real Kickstarter project?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's imagine two Kickstarter campaigns, both for handmade ceramic mugs. One campaign focuses heavily on the artisan's unique process, the ancient techniques they use, the years of training they've had.
I can already picture it. Beautiful photos showcasing the intricate details, maybe even a video of the artist working in their studio talking about their artistic philosophy.
Exactly. Now, picture the second campaign.
Okay.
They also sell beautiful handmade mugs, but their campaign emphasizes something different.
Okay.
They talk about the mug's durability, how they're perfect for everyday use, how they make your morning coffee ritual even more enjoyable.
So they're focusing on the practicality and the user experience while still showcasing the craftsmanship.
Right. They're appealing to a broader audience, people who appreciate quality and craftsmanship, but may not be as interested in the historical context or the artist's unique process.
So according to this research, that second campaign, the one that's maybe a little less focused on the unique story behind the craft, might actually be more likely to succeed.
Potentially. Now, this isn't a hard and fast rule,
Yes.
of course. There are always exceptions. But the study suggests that on average, campaigns that tone down the distinctiveness, especially when it comes to risky or highly specialized projects, might have a slight advantage.
This is making me think beyond crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Do you think these same principles apply to other areas of business, like marketing or even just building a personal brand?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think there are definitely parallels
Okay.
in any field where you're trying to connect with an audience and gain their trust. Finding that balance between standing out and fitting in is crucial.
It's like you're navigating a delicate dance.
Yeah.
You want to be memorable and unique, but you also want to make people feel comfortable and confident in choosing you.
Exactly. It's a constant tension, and the right approach will vary depending on the context, the audience, and the specific goals you're trying to achieve.
Okay, so for our listeners who are thinking about backing a craft project on Kickstarter,
Yeah.
what are some of the key takeaways from this research?
Okay.
What should they be paying attention to?
Well, we've talked about the three moderators: risk, strategic breadth, and cognitive complexity.
Right.
Those are all important factors to consider. But beyond that, I think it's crucial to look beyond the product itself and try to understand the creator's motivation and vision.
You mean going deeper than just the object being sold?
Exactly. Ask yourself, why are they passionate about this craft? What makes their approach unique? And do they have a clear plan for bringing their vision to life?
It's about connecting with the person behind the product, understanding their why.
I think that's a great way to put it. You're not just investing in a product. You're investing in a person and their passion and their story.
This reminds me of some of the projects I've backed on Kickstarter in the past.
Yeah.
The ones that really resonated with me weren't just selling a cool gadget or a beautiful piece of art. They were sharing a vision, a passion, a story that I wanted to be a part of.
And that's what makes crowdfunding so powerful. It's a way for us to connect with creators and support projects that align with our values and interests.
It's a two-way street. Backers get to be a part of something special, and creators get the support they need to bring their visions to life.
Exactly. It's a win-win. And this research on craft businesses gives us a really interesting lens through which to view the dynamics of crowdfunding and the importance of finding that sweet spot of distinctiveness.
Yeah, it's almost like we've uncovered a secret code, a hidden language of crowdfunding success.
Maybe not a secret code, but certainly some valuable insights that can help us make more informed decisions, whether we're creators seeking funding or backers looking for projects to support.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it's this. When you're evaluating a crowdfunding project, don't just look at the product or the pitch. Look at the person behind it.
Okay.
Try to understand their passion, their vision, their why.
It's about looking beyond the surface and connecting with the heart of the project.
Exactly, because ultimately that's what makes a project truly special and worthy of our support.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy exploring these topics and uncovering those hidden gems of knowledge.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you found it as fascinating as we did person. Remember, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep supporting those projects that speak to your soul. Until next time.